I used to think that the worst part of being bedridden from an injury was the pain. But I was wrong. The worst part is realizing the person who once said, "I'll be by your side no matter what happens," is actually the one quietly waiting for the day you can't stand up anymore, so they can walk away with everything. 3 months ago, I fell from scaffolding while working on the third floor of a construction site. Spinal fracture. Two herniated discs, one of them pressing so hard against a nerve that I lost all feeling in my left leg. Then came the surgery. Screws, metal rods, and 6 months of forced stillness. No movement, no job. Pain? Sure. Helplessness? Absolutely. But worse was becoming completely dependent on my wife, the woman I had built a life with for the past 19 years. Erica, 41, my wife, the same woman who held my hand when we were broke college kids. The one who used to laugh and say, "I don't need a fancy house, just you." But in recent years, something shifted. She started wanting more. A new car, a bigger house, fancy vacations. We fought more, especially after a bad investment I made 5 years ago cost us $30,000. I tried everything to make it right, but I could tell he never really let it go. Still, I thought we were trying. I thought we were repairing what cracked. Until that afternoon. I was in the recliner, laid back in pain. The meds were strong, fuzzying my thoughts, making my limbs feel like air. Erica thought I was asleep. She stepped outside, and my 16-year-old son, Everett, flopped down in the chair across from me, scrolling through his phone, casually answering a call from a friend. He didn't know I was awake. Didn't know every word he said was slicing through me like a blade. "Dude, yeah, I probably can't go to that concert. Mom says she's waiting on Dad's insurance payout, then she's divorcing him and we're moving to California. She's already talking to real estate agents out there." I heard every word, every word. I couldn't breathe. My eyes were shut, but inside I was screaming. My heart was being ripped open. He kept talking, unaware his father was listening to the dream he built for his family being torn apart, piece by piece. He said Mom had been planning this for a while, said she was already talking to Aunt Maya about job options, said she's tired of taking care of a useless man like Dad. I don't know how long I sat there. When Erica came back in, I had already thrown up from the shock. She thought it was the meds. She cleaned me up. She stroked my hair, gently asked how I was feeling. And I looked up at the face I thought I knew, the face I'd loved for nearly 2 decades. And all I could think was, who the hell is this woman? She wiped my face, handed me my meds, rubbed my back and whispered, "Just rest, okay? I'll take care of everything." I nodded, said thank you. But in my head, the anger didn't explode. It just went still. Cold, calculated. The pain in my back was nothing compared to the pain of realizing this woman, the one I trusted more than anyone, had already decided to leave me at my weakest. No warning, no remorse. She wasn't waiting for me to recover. She was waiting for the money. So I started planning, quietly. First, I texted Silas, my closest friend. He'd been through a dirty divorce himself. He didn't ask questions. He just showed up the next afternoon while Erica took Everett to baseball practice. Silas listened, let the whole story sink in. Then he looked me straight in the eye and said just one thing. "You can't wait for her to strike first. You hit first this time." Next, I called Elliot, a divorce attorney who specializes in the ugly kind. I couldn't drive yet, so we set up a video call. Elliot wasn't surprised. He listened with this eerie calm, and then started laying it all out. Don't confront her. Keep playing weak. Let her think you're still asleep and trust. Gather evidence. Record suspicious calls, log credit card charges, email history, browser searches. Open a separate bank account. Start moving assets, bit by bit, out of her reach. Change the beneficiary on your life insurance. It's still listed Erica. That ends now. Freeze the payout. Make sure any insurance disbursement requires both signatures. I followed every step, painfully, methodically, even though every phone call felt like a knife in my spine. I said nothing to Erica. Let her keep helping me to the bathroom, spoon-feeding me soup, applying ointment. I smiled. I said, "Thanks, babe." I played the part of the grateful husband, like I had no idea. But every time she turned her back, I dug deeper. One night after she fell asleep, I grabbed the shared tablet we used to watch shows together. She'd forgotten to clear the browser history. Top public schools in San Diego. Transferring house title after divorce. How is property divided if one spouse doesn't work? I wanted to smash that tablet to pieces, but I knew. Rage in a rush would cost me everything. So instead, Mom, I laid a trap. I staged a FaceTime with my younger brother. I positioned my phone just right, recording, and accidentally left the mic on while Everett chatted nearby with one of his friends. He went on and on about the plan to move, how Mom already talked to a realtor. And then this, Pooey doesn't know anything. Mom said he won't figure it out. That's me, Porter. I sat in the dark, gripping my phone, replaying the recording of my son's voice. My head was spinning, but strangely the pain was gone. Not the physical kind. That didn't matter anymore. In that moment I knew. This wasn't a marriage. It was a demolition project. There was nothing left to save. Only lies to dismantle. One brick at a time. And I'd start exactly where she'd least expect it. The money. Phase 1. Secure the foundation. Erica didn't know I'd opened a private account at a different bank. Quietly, I transferred our shared savings, my portion, no more no less, into it. I also had Elliot help me change the beneficiary on my life insurance policy. Because if what my son said was true, her fresh start in California didn't include me, alive or otherwise. Phase 2, the truth vault. Silas came over that weekend while Erica and Everett were out shopping. We dug through 5 years of financial records, odd charges, hidden transactions from a secondary credit card I didn't even know existed. We found high-end restaurant bills on nights I worked late, hotel stays for 2 on weekends. I was in the hospital. Shipments to Maya's address. Her sister, who supposedly moved in to help us out. There were things I wish I hadn't seen. But once you see them, there's no unseeing. Phase 3. Bait the hook. I played cheerful when she asked about the insurance check. She thought I had no idea. Each day, Erica got more anxious, checking the mailbox 3 times, asking, "Have you heard anything from the insurance company yet?" Eyes lit up like she was waiting on a lottery win. And me? I smiled and said, "Should be in next week, honey." Truth was, I'd already spoken with the insurance rep 3 days earlier. I'd set it up so the check required both our signatures and added a phone ID verification. A quiet stall tactic. No fights, no flags. Just time. Phase 4. Lock the gates. I hired a locksmith to change every lock in the house. Silas helped me install a motion sensor system, not out of fear, but to control the board. I moved everything that mattered to me. My mother's faux, my father's watch, Everett's birth certificate, our savings book, to Silas's house. Safe. If it all burned down, nothing inside could burn me with it. Checkmate approaching. The walls were up, the assets were protected, and I was no longer just Porter, the man recovering from back surgery. I was Porter, the man with a reinforced spine of steel. Not just in his body, but in his will. And Erica, the woman who thought she was quietly scripting her escape, was about to realize she never held the pen. That afternoon, I sat at the dining table. The house was quiet, eerily so. In the kitchen, the smell of lasagna drifted through the air. Erica's specialty, the dish she always made when she wanted to create that cozy family vibe. She smiled softly, carrying the tray out to the table. Eyes bright, subtle lipstick. She looked like my wife. But I knew better. This was just a performer in a play she had written herself. "I think it's time we talk about the finances," I said calmly. "Of course," she chirped, pulling out a laptop and spreadsheet, clearly something she'd had prepped for at least a week. So what was in her little family financial plan? $175,000 for transition living expenses, $100,000 for Everett's education fund, $50,000 for some vague life-changing investment opportunity. And the rest? To be discussed once things settle emotionally. I nodded, eyes locked on the line item that read, Fresh Start Fund, $300,000. Her plan to start over without me. "What do you mean by fresh start?" I asked softly. She smiled, tight and measured. "Oh, just in case. You know, life takes unexpected turns." I tossed her a bigger bait. "How about we buy a little vacation house in California?" Her eyes lit up. She thought I was clueless, and immediately pulled up listings for beachfront homes in San Diego. Inside, I smirked. She thought she was leading me, but really, she was walking right into the trap I'd been building for weeks. That night, she went to bed early. I didn't. When her soft snores echoed down the hallway, I sat in the dark, opened my tablet, plugged in my headphones, and hit play. My son's voice from the secret recording. "Mom said once the insurance money hits, she's divorcing Dad and we're moving to California. She's already been talking to realtors." I didn't listen to make myself hurt. I listened to stay sharp, to keep my spine cold and my mind focused, so I wouldn't waver. Next move, the surprise family dinner. I told Erica I was thinking we should have dinner with Everett and Maya this week. I want to thank her for helping out during my recovery. She didn't suspect a thing. She thought I was softening. But me, I'd already lined up the attorney, the financial advisor, and Silas. That night wouldn't be a farewell dinner. It would be something else entirely. A curtain drop. Saturday arrived in silence. Gray skies, steady drizzle, the perfect backdrop for a tragic comedy about to unfold. I wore the button-down shirt Erica once said made me look responsible. Funny, she used to pick out my clothes so I'd look the part for everyone else. Now, it felt like armor. 6 on P, man, everyone in position. Erica, light makeup, floral dress, playing the role of the devoted wife. Maya, her sister, restless, maybe tired, maybe because she knows. Everett, our son, tense, eyes glued to his phone. Me, calm, leaning on my cane, a voice recorder tucked neatly in my shirt pocket. Dinner began with shallow small talk, fake smiles, forced laughter. When dessert hit the table, I tapped my wine glass gently. Before we wrap up tonight, I said, there's something I need to share with everyone. I pulled out my phone, pressed play. Everett's voice filled the room, crystal clear. Mom said once the insurance check comes through, she's divorcing Dad. We're moving to California. She's already talked to a realtor. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Erica froze. Maya stammered. Everett stared down at the table. I looked directly at the woman I had spent the last 19 years building a life with and said, I've known for a while now, Erica. I laid a stack of papers on the table. Credit card statements. 3 of them I never even knew existed. Receipts from restaurants and hotel stays, places I've never been. Emails to her sister, detailing a fresh start. Proof she's been seeing another man. Erica trembled. Tears didn't even have time to form. You were planning to take our son, use my money, strip my life clean while I still couldn't sit up straight. Do you have anything to say? She spilled the script like a bad soap opera. I just felt lost. I wasn't really going to do it. It was just a thought. I didn't answer. I simply nodded, like a builder inspecting a rotten foundation one last time before tearing it all down. Oh, by the way, I added, did you know your boyfriend's married? Erica went still. Maya gasped. Her name's Rachel. We met last week. She says thank you, by the way. She's glad I told her the truth. Erica's eyes went wide. The dinner transformed into a funeral. I stood, gripped my cane. I'm not throwing you out tonight, but tomorrow morning my lawyer will serve you divorce papers. And this time, no one's leaving me behind. Erica said nothing. Maya held on to her, and Everett, he looked at me and nodded. The next morning, I woke up in the old recliner, back aching, not just from the healing incision, but from the weight of a trust that had completely collapsed. In the kitchen, Erica was making coffee. Her eyes were puffy, lips pressed tight. There was no sweetness in her voice, no more devoted wife performance. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. We both knew. The game was over. 10 o'clock a.m. My lawyer Elliot sent the divorce papers. She received the email while packing her bags. No screaming, no hysterics, not the meltdown I'd once imagined, just silence. She read every line like she was still hoping for a loophole. She got $175,000 from the insurance settlement. I kept the house. I kept custody. She took on the $27,000 credit card debt I never even knew existed. And Everett, our son, got to choose where he wanted to live. He chose me. That afternoon it rained, softly. Erica returned with her sister, and a man I'd never met. No one introduced him. They didn't need to. I already knew. This was the man she'd been planning for. They packed dresses, books, the life we once shared. I just sat there silent. My silence was the period at the end of the story. Everett came over and tugged at my sleeve. Dad, I don't want to go with Mom. I put my hand on his shoulder, nodded. No words needed. We had both lost enough. The following week, I had a few friends repaint Everett's room. Gone was the sea foam blue his mother once picked. Now, a cool, grounded gray, strong, solid. Ours. We ate pizza for dinner, watched a dumb zombie movie, and laughed, for real, for the first time in weeks. I kept going to physical therapy. Still hurt, still needed the cane, but something inside me had healed. My self-respect. That day, I got one last message from Erica. Porter, can you ever forgive me? We were a family. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened a folder on my phone, the one that held 43 voice messages she'd left me during the fallout. I didn't play a single one. I just stared at them quietly. Like bricks in the foundation of the life I'm rebuilding. Some mornings I wake up, and it takes me a few seconds to remember. I survived. I survived the surgery. I survived the betrayal. I survived a marriage I once thought would last forever. Spring came early that year. Everett started smiling more. He asked if we could repaint his room, order a few decorations online. He said, I wanted to feel like my room, not the room Mom used to make me pretend to like. I just nodded, because I too was learning how to live in a house where I didn't need to please anyone anymore. I packed away the old photos, didn't burn them, didn't tear them up, just placed them in a box labeled, What's Past? Because I learned something. The past doesn't need to be erased. It just needs to be put in its place. Not on the walls, but in the heart, in a dusty little corner that no longer runs the show. I still hear about Erica, that the relationship with her new man didn't work out, that being away from Everett left her feeling hollow, that even her sister Maya started to question who her sibling had really become. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. Just lighter. Like taking off a soaked jacket after walking through a long, cold storm. I've been rebuilding, one brick at a time. I don't need a cane anymore. I'm learning to cook decent meals. Everett and I are planning our first trip. Just the two of us. No reason except this. We made it through, together. One day I opened my phone and saw the folder titled 43 voicemails. I didn't listen to a single one. I just hit delete because I realized something powerful. You don't have to keep pain to remember the lesson. The lesson is already carved into who you are. I survived, and I'm doing just fine.